back with the weird rituals that might be going absolutely nowhere and might be just weird. But I have more, it's a twin flame. Like I have more questions from a list of questions for, it's like twin flame related, but it is a ritual. It's with Moloch because, or Moloch, I think it's Moloch because I accidentally forget pronunciation sometimes, but that's what I think it is, or that's what I call it. The name is Moloch. But yeah, so I think it would be interesting. And yeah, I'll just start the questions because I already have one written down. If Moloch reviewed your twin flame connection like a restaurant critic, what would he complain about first? Communication, timing, emotional repression, dramatic exits, or spiritual delusion? I think just dramatic exits or spiritual delusion. I think yeah, that's sort of the answer. Which ingredient would symbolize pretending to move on while secretly hoping someone notices? I think if you have like a marshmallow but you're like roasting the marshmallow and when it like catches on fire, I feel like it can be very like attention-seeking behavior. I think that's kind of what it is. Like I think if you're pretending to move on, you're putting it on such a show, like you're putting in so much effort to be seen a certain way. So I feel like, yeah, roasting a marshmallow for like s'mores or something could be an ingredient. I think it's attention-seeking behavior. Okay, next question. If the ritual accidentally summoned everybody you've ever embarrassed yourself in front of, which drink would you hide behind? So you really have to hide behind a drink that you know nobody is going to drink, because then the cup is probably made out of glass or something see-through and they're gonna find you. Assuming the drink is so giant that it would be like, run, hide behind that giant drink the size of a house or a room or whatever. The size of a wall. What kind of drink would that be? That's actually like really giant. I don't know. Probably it would have to again be something really gross that they're not gonna touch. So I think if the whole thing was full of like frozen squirrel pee blended together with like the body and like all of the organs and fur and eyes and bones and everything of the squirrel, but it's actually like a really giant squirrel, so it sort of like takes up so much space that it fills up the whole glass. And you know, as far as decorations, you would really have to have very like don't look at me decorations. Like all the other drinks are going to be so much more interesting. So I think if you can find some way to like make it smell even more terrible and make it really obvious that it's that drink that it's coming from, like any decorations that just make it uglier and grosser in a more obvious way. So yeah, pretty much. What ingredient represents saying, I'm completely fine, while actively making a symbolic demon frappe for YouTube? Because if you don't know about Moloch, he could be worked with either as like a god or, you know, deity, or as a demon. So there's different, you can kind of like, you know, do what you're gonna do. You could just do what you're gonna do. I don't know what you're gonna do, but like, there's different ways, different stories of the world, philosophies. If you are, I feel like if you're doing chaos magic and like rituals and stuff, you can kind of do the version that is yours, and that's just gonna be like what you gravitate towards, in my opinion. Yeah, so what ingredient represents saying I'm completely fine while actively making a symbolic demon frappe for YouTube? So like, what ingredient in the symbolic demon frappe? Well, what represents saying I'm completely fine? It's just gonna be like ice cubes or something, because I feel like you would need the most like blending in ingredient, or like bananas. I feel like, you know, I feel like potassium, like get your vitamins. What else? Maybe pomegranates, because pomegranates are so like gateway to the underworld, or to the earth world. Like, what dimension are you from? So having pomegranates is so like pretending to be okay, because you don't even know if you're in the underworld or not, because it's a pomegranate, so you could kind of have it either place, hence like Persephone and stuff. And I think her thing wouldn't really be pomegranates unless pomegranates were like the main fruit that like can be grown in the underworld more than earth. Not that they can't have other food, but like they probably have like the rotten version of everything, but it's probably pomegranates that are the same in the underworld than as they are on earth, because it's sort of like gateway. It's like how cats are like gateway to the underworld, like they're the only ones who can walk through the portal if they feel like it or something. Like, that's, yeah. So what did I say? Oh yeah, pomegranates and bananas and ice cubes. If your twin flame turned into a seasonal coffee flavor, would they be emotional unavailable pumpkin spice, manipulative peppermint mocha, chaotic cherry vanilla, or mysterious dark roast? Seasonal coffee flavor. Well, not all of these seem like coffee flavors that would even taste good. I don't like eliminating like actual flavor that I wouldn't even find good. The thing about chaotic cherry vanilla, as fun as that sounds, cherry vanilla actually sounds kind of gross to me, because it's like a coffee with like blended up cherries or something, and then like vanilla. And then mysterious dark roast. I think if it just tastes like dark roast coffee, like no cream, no sugar, like black coffee, for me, I just wouldn't like that one, because it's gonna be too strong and like kind of flavorless in my opinion, like just coffee. I don't like that at all. I would hate that. So that sort of, I think mysterious would have been like a compliment, but in general, and chaotic is almost kind of a compliment, but so that kind of leaves manipulative or emotionally unavailable. But I really don't think I like pumpkin spice as much as I like peppermint mocha, so probably manipulative peppermint mocha, which I think is fine, but like, what? Which ceremonial ingredient has the strongest energy of deleting a message before the other person sees it, then regretting it instantly? I think I just don't delete messages enough. I think I'm more oversending. I don't think I go back and delete the ones that would be a great idea to delete, because I think at some point it felt more transparent to just not delete it and be like, well, it kind of is what happened. I don't know. I think, yeah. Is that a good thing? I mean, what things count as good things on the planet anyway? I don't know. Some things definitely, but like, yeah. Which ceremonial ingredient has the strongest energy of deleting messages? Oh, definitely like, what's it called? Like, you know how if they're making something that's sort of like not pumpkin, but what's the other one? Like, what's like the spice of the pumpkin spice? Like, what's the seasoning? I don't know what the seasoning is. I don't know what the seasoning is. I don't know what the seasoning is. I mean, probably like the elements like earth, air, wind, fire, whatever. Like, I think those probably all, because of the earth, like I feel like anything from the earth is gonna have like a weird, that sounds so mean to the planet. I'm sure she's doing her best, but the actual planet, like I think you know, probably fire, candles, house candles, like ceremonial ingredients, like whipped cream though, because the adrenaline rush of it is like high vibrational. What's that? Oh, numbers? Anyway, I never noticed that before, but yeah. I swear I had to read this question so many times to even know what it was asking. If Moloch asked what the ritual's true purpose was, would you answer enlightenment, artistic expression, emotional closure, content creation, or wanting somebody specific to watch the video? That's so funny because it's like, what's the purpose of this exact ritual right now? This video. So yeah, interesting. Where basking? Well, going through the list, right? I'll just go through the list and talk about whether or not this is a part of the purpose of it. So I would say, first of all, enlightenment definitely is a part of the purpose of this video, because I feel like over time, anything that you practice, you get better at. And so if you practice something that includes a type of energy, you get better, you get more stronger within that type of energy. It's like if you wanted to blindfold yourself and try to guess what color everything you ever touched was only based on the texture. Well, I know on Earth, like, maybe it's hard to conceptualize how you would eventually get better at that, but the same, it's sort of weird, but like the same way that at some point in time you didn't know what a mango was, but like you don't remember practicing that, but you practiced it at some point and then you got so good at it. Like at some point you didn't know what an orange was, you didn't know what a lemon was, you practiced that and you got better at it. You just don't remember it because it was the stupid part of your life now, you know, with the context. Like, you got better at tying your shoes when you were little, I don't know. Or, you know, if you're studying for a test, you get better at it. Like, I think over time, the information you gravitate towards and try to tap into is what you get good at. if you practice makeup, you start to learn, oh, this product doesn't blend well with this product. Like, you just learn. You just start knowing. If you allow yourself to say yes to yourself in a certain category of your life, you slowly become more intuitive about that category of your life. And so I think that sometimes when there's a spirit that you're curious about working with, if you do a ritual with them and see how it goes and how you feel about it, you can sort of learn more about the energy and find out like a deeper level of how you feel about it. As far as artistic expression, well, I think I do a lot of things as artistic expression, but that's not like the only reason why. But I think artistic expression is still a part of your purpose, and sometimes it in a way it does send a message of, oh, isn't it ominous, like a witch working with this like spirit, right? So there's levels to it, but I try not to think too much about exactly what artistic expression symbolizes, because I feel like I'm already too tapped into that at times. So I try to just be like, if this is fun, like, let me do something that's just for fun. But I think the version where in this particular ritual it's sort of about like, oh, different flavors of food and drinks and stuff. I just realized how loud I was talking, but I feel like it's like evening, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, I feel like that part is artistic expression, but it's also like, let me have a light, fun, happy part of it and not have every ritual feel so like heavy, because I feel like a lot of, even doing rituals, I feel like sometimes it feels heavy, and I'm like, well, I'm just still having an experience, like learning in that type of energy. But it doesn't change the fact that some of it can be too heavy, and like it's good to bring in something that's like fresh and like alivens it more. It sounds so backwards to say that a ritual could feel that way though. But you really do sometimes, if it starts to feel like a heavy thing that you're just doing and you're like, well, now what? Like, I don't know. If you just bring in what feels super light and fun. Emotional closure, I don't think that's like the reason I'm doing the ritual, but I think that in any category in a person's life, the concept of emotional closure, it sounds so like weird to say. That's not what I really like mean in the context of what the question probably means, but like, it's like if you felt like your chakras have a bunch of like holes poked in them, you want to like resolve that, fix it, not just go back to normal, but you want to be an like incredibly better version of yourself, to the point where it was actually worth it to go through anything negative that you felt like you experienced, or that you actually experienced, all of that. So yeah. Content creation, I mean, I don't think I'd do anything just for numbers, because I get like 3 views on a video, a lot, and because I already have so many videos on my channel, I really don't just add, well, it depends, but I don't just add videos so the number will go up. I feel like I try to be a little more intentional than that, while also not leaving my YouTube channel like dry though. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I've been uploading every day for so long, like no more of that. I feel like I try not to like close myself off in that way. Or wanting somebody specific to watch the video. I mean, well, it's a twin flame video, but I don't sit here like, oh, the person I said was my twin flame has to watch the video. Like, I feel like just embrace basic freedom, but also like if that happened, okay, that would be fine with me, but like that would be cool, that would be great. Like, it's not welcome, but like it would be so, I feel like, what if it would be like so awkward if I'm like, oh, like, watch this video, like, as if I don't feel like I already take up too much space in like all kinds of ways, but in the wrong ways. That's how I feel a lot anyway. So, well, that's all for that question. What ingredient belongs in the I accidentally became obsessed with symbolism smoothie? I think you would have to have the right ingredients. You would probably have pages from spiritual books that are half like burnt, like half the page like burned away. I think you would also have sunflowers. I feel like you would have like rice and salt, and you would turn it into like, you'd have like a glass vase and you would just mix all of it together, and you'd have those little like blue marbles and stuff. All right, next question. If your twin flame watched this ritual in silence and then sent only a single emoji afterward, which emoji would spiritually devastate you the most? First of all, I am not the person whose insanity would need to be questioned or checked on if my twin flame watched this video in absolute silence, because it's just gonna be me talking to a screen. Maybe there's subtitles, right? But like, no, like if it's absolute silence, like, well, maybe then it's more like, can you read my lips? Like, I don't know. I would hope that it's still about like getting better at something, not just watching it in absolute silence. Like, in absolute silence, like I feel like that would just start to be like a little tiny bit of like an NPC thing to do if you're just watching a YouTube video in complete silence with no subtitles and there's not like words on the screen. I feel like I'm very inclusive to different types of emojis. Like, I don't think I would, there's only a few that I think if it's intentionally meant in like such a like, I don't know, extreme negative way, then I would be like, okay, like that's kind of mean, that's like, it's kind of unnecessary, right? Worst ones, I think like nobody likes the skull emoji. Not that nobody uses it for like a fun purpose, but like nobody likes if someone does one single emoji to be like, ugh, I don't want to ever hear from you again, and it's like the skull emoji. What? Like, I feel like that one's a lot, right? What other emoji? Like the throw up emoji. That would be sad. I feel like all other emojis, I feel like I could see like a positive side to. Like, I feel like a lot of emojis, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's definitely negative. At the end of the day though, if it's actually your twin flame, it's kind of like getting like a message from yourself in the context of like, you have to understand what the emoji probably means is probably not something negative. But if you're gonna take it as something negative, then you're both going through like some really negative block at the same time that neither of you can work through. A lot of it can be like heavy energy. Like, a lot of it, if twin flames are in separation, it's not like, oh yay, like we're gonna, like, some of it is heavy, like disturbing, dark stuff people have to face and be able to face on their own, because you don't even have your twin flame there to like, nobody's gonna come like save you from it. It's like you have to be able to fully like face that on your own. Like, it's not even just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like all of your worst parts are there for the judgment of someone else, and you don't have a choice in how that's taken. Yeah. But yeah, emojis, the bad ones to me are like the skull emoji. Well, I think the I don't know. Some of the heart emojis seem like sarcastic, but I don't know. It just depends on like who you are and stuff. I think the clown emoji could be like, I think I wouldn't take that in the most negative way, but I think some people would. I would just be like, oh, you think I'm like different, you think I'm unique. Like, I think I have a more like, let me find like a more positive meaning for this. I think like the face slap emoji where it's like like I think that would be kind of an insult, because it's like, oh, you're so, I think the point is, I think my goal would be like to be grounded, so it's not like, oh no, the person I believe is my twin flame like sent me this, like, oh no. I mean, I think everybody feels that way, but at the same time, at some point, I mean, but I think the goal is to be grounded, because every time you put yourself out there in any way, it could be in like a negative way. And like, there's gonna be, no matter what, there's people who have like weird interpretations, and it's like, oh, if you have like resistance to the concept, or if there's any other reason, which is like so many reasons, then it's like, okay, I probably have that too. But it's also like, it doesn't grow on trees that somebody decides they're also your twin flame. Like, it doesn't grow. It's not like an apple, like it was definitely gonna grow, you pick it from the tree. Like, it's not just gonna like grow on a tree and you grab it, you're like, oh, I expected this. It's like you had a normal tree and for some reason it got struck by lightning, and like now the apples are made out of gold. You're like, oh, okay. Like, I clearly did not expect this. So if they say like, oh, I'm definitely not gonna do that, you kind of take it in like a positive way, or you don't expect yourself to put yourself in the environment where you would, or in the space where you would even be having that conversation. Hopefully you're not having the conversation if you're gonna take it in a bad way, but that happens all the time. So I don't know, you kind of have to take the bad parts as we were both going through something and that was not fun for either of us, and then you're gonna look crazy doing it. But can you still care? I don't know. Can you still care even when it's not perfect? I don't know. Which frozen drink flavor feels most likely to start crying in a parking lot? I think blue raspberry. Any frozen blue raspberry drink has emotional issues, because that's like the manic pixie dream girl of frozen drinks. You know how the manic pixie dream girl has this like blue dyed hair? Well, it's a blue raspberry frozen drink. She's gonna just be this like alternative fantasy for like all of the men or women who are very resistant or refusing to be like swayed in that direction, right? Like, she's dressed like a fairy, but she's got like tattoos everywhere, and she's alternative, and she's got blue hair, and she's got glitter everywhere, and eyeliner smudged all over and just right, and like, but everything about her is perfect and nobody knows why and nobody can figure it out, and like nobody understands her, and she's mysterious and no one knows where she's been all month, but like she's definitely meant to be with like any man who's ever seen her or laid eyes on her, right? For some reason, right? For some reason. And I'm sure she's talented and she's this and she's that, right? Well, that's like the blue raspberry, what's it called? Like, yeah, like the slushy blue raspberry drink. Like that's so the frozen drink of like, oh, she's secretly meant to be with everybody but nobody understands enough to actually be the one. But like, of course, that's exactly who's crying in a parking lot. It's just like, what's the context of how that happened or why she's crying? It's just definitely happening, but no one knows why. If an ancient fire deity looked directly into your soul and said, "You are being embarrassing right now," what ingredient would suddenly lose all magical power? I think like garlic, like any type of garlic, would lose all meaning. Because how are you gonna let an ancient deity do that to you? Act like a vampire and drain all your energy? Are you gonna let it happen? Are you gonna let it happen? Do you know what to do? You don't know what to do. Anyway, guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you. Goodbye.